Ladies and gentlemen, in the 90s, there was the Ken Starr Special Counsel, the Starr Special Counsel. It started initially because Whitewater was a failed land deal where you had people engaged in criminal activity. The Clintons got out of any liability, or they circumvented charges, but from that special counsel you found the blue dress and Monica in the Oval Office. Okay, so there was criminal activity that the Starr Special Counsel was investigating. A failed land deal. Watergate, for example, was a break-in, an actual criminal act. So you have a whole bunch of predicate crimes, and you have a reason. You have a reason for these special counsels to take place. Okay, with the Mueller probe, there was no reason. There was no reason for Trump to be investigated at all. The DNC hired a third-party tech firm, not the United States government. They never gave servers to the U.S. government. So what on earth did Trump have to do with a third-party tech firm stating that the Kremlin wanted everyone to know Bernie Sanders was cheated, thus influencing voters in 2016 to vote for Trump over Clinton? What the Democrats did was the following. They said, well, other countries want you to know our corruption. That's not democracy. And so they set up this elaborate scheme and hoax using a Steele dossier. And the analysis or investigation of third-party tech firms. So the United States government never looked at DNC servers. That's okay. We hired a third-party tech firm to say, oh my God, all of these hackers from another country infiltrated the DNC servers to spread the DNC emails showing that Bernie Sanders was cheated, thus putting egg on the face of every good morally superior liberal Democrat on the planet who pontificates about democracy. Then they said, well, there's a Steele dossier. Quick, BuzzFeed, publish it. Mother Jones, publish it. Or publish a whole bunch of other things pertaining to the Steele dossier. Oh, Washington Post, New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, all of media, all of Hollywood obsess over the Steele dossier. And then you have the Alpha Bank story, which is why Sussman was indicted. Michael Sussman, the third indictment, and text messages that are found shown that he's going to lose that case. But when people say, well, isn't that interesting that the Durham probe, that Sussman calls the Durham probe biased, and the Durham probe's existence is to investigate bias of the prior special counsel. If, because you're partisan or biased doesn't mean you're wrong. Trump was set up and framed. It is only just that there's a special counsel to find out why all of these people set him up and framed him, including a partisan special counsel started by Comey's memos. Okay, you couldn't corroborate or verify or guarantee that anything within his memos were accurate. You couldn't verify that the third-party tech firm stating the DNC was infiltrated, that their analysis was accurate, simply because you had high to moderate confidence assessments from intelligence agencies and a Senate panel confirming the high to moderate confidence assessment, because the United States intelligence community, all three agencies, never stated with a guarantee or certainty that any country wanted Trump. They just believed that. And now it's written as if it's gospel and truth. See, hit subscribe to this channel right now. We're almost at 196,000 subs. We're there. We're almost at 200,000 subscribers. People, to everybody who's been with me since late 2015, I was doing one segment a month. One segment a week, barely, in like October, November of 2015. And then I was doing maybe one segment every week, the beginning of 2016. And then I started building the channel. And now we have almost 200,000 subscribers. I didn't join a network of $20 million venture capital people. I'm doing it all myself. I've done it all myself, swimming upstream, telling you that, hey, what you're hearing is not accurate. It's a lie by omission. Media lies by omission. That's how they lie. That's how they deceive. CNN will tell you the truth. Yes, it's true. They'll tell you the truth, but they'll only tell you 30% or 40% of the truth. Maybe even 20% of the truth. Or they'll just tell you that there's a 7-hour gap in Trump's phone records, and oopsie, they'll tell you, oh, it's the landlines. But they get everybody, in terms of this emotional frenzy, they get people, they manufacture and fabricate and perpetuate these emotional responses. Oh my God, Trump is hiding something. He's hiding something. Oh, it was landlines. Oh, that's right, the 7-hour gap in January when they were obtaining the calls. Oh, that's just landlines and cell phones. Okay. But they didn't even really address that they ruined that story or botched that story. That's just one of many things they reported on Trump that never happened. He also never cleared Lafayette Square simply for a photo op. That never ever happened. That the reason it was cleared is for something other than Trump. And then he took the picture. But see, they have to spin and weave. He never stated both sides, meaning he tried to, compliment the really horrible, insidious people. He even condemns them within the transcript. You can go on forever. They don't have anything on Trump. They just don't like his personality, so they lie, and they either lie overtly or lie by omission and give you only half-truths. And so when a text message comes out saying, the text message, quote, Jim, it's Michael Sussman. I have something time-sensitive and sensitive I need to discuss. Do you have availability for a short meeting tomorrow? I'm coming on my own, not on behalf of a client or company. Want to help the Bureau? Thanks. Want to help the Bureau. To do what? The reason the Steele dossier is relevant is because the Steele dossier was one of the biggest reasons that all of this Red Scare, McCarthy-era hysteria and frenzy engulfed Washington and the country. People like Michael Sussman and Igor Danchenko and Kevin Kleinsmith and Comey and Strzok and McCabe and Clapper and Brennan and all of these people, they deceived the entire country. And they did so by filtering surveillance, data derived from surveillance, lies, nonsense, into filtering all of these lies and deceitful statements and baseless claims about Trump that he could have been, might have been installed by another country. So all you needed was Clapper and Brennan to say, oh my God, there's a Steele dossier? Okay. We're going to say that another country, because Bernie Sanders was cheated, and we all know this now, and all of these emails from the foundation show pay-to-play schemes, Bill Clinton Inc., and all of these emails from the campaign show that President Obama knew Clinton had top-secret intelligence or servers running outside of the United States government. So all of the corruption was exposed in 2016. Then they went after everyone who they went after Julian Assange, who was never charged with working alongside any foreign intelligence official. Why is that? Okay, if they're so accurate, why wasn't he charged? If the entire narrative is truthful or accurate or might have even happened, why wasn't Assange charged with conspiring or working alongside Russian intelligence officials? He wasn't. He should be free. He should absolutely be free, and I wrote about that numerous times. But this entire thing, these are lies for a specific purpose. So the text message that 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 John Durham released or uncovered points to a widespread attempt to undermine and set up Trump. Yeah, the Durham probe is partisan. Of course it's partisan. Of course, because a partisan action or an injustice was committed. Okay? When people commit an injustice upon somebody else, they're engaged in partisan activity or biased. They hold extreme contempt and bias towards somebody. Yeah, and to find out why that took place is inherently a biased endeavor. It's still, however, rooted in truth. The Durham probe special counsel is needed because an incoming candidate was set up and framed by U.S. government officials and people who either gave them a pretext to investigate Trump or deceived them. When Michael Sussman gave James Baker all this surveillance of Trump and said, gosh, we think that he was working with Alpha Bank, or no, we think that he was communicating with a server and through servers communicating with a Moscow bank. That tied into the lies and deceitful statements and absurd hoax and fantasies regarding the Steele dossier. That also was a document purchased by Clinton. Clinton and the DNC purchases the Steele dossier from Fusion GPS and Glenn Simpson and Christopher Steele. That document is filtered throughout the United States government. Then the United States government says, gee, we think that Trump, there's all this stuff about Bernie Sanders and emails flying around. It must be another country's attempt to influence people. Again, how? To show the corruption within the Democratic Party. That's when Trump was impeached. He was impeached. President Zelensky stated he never pressured him. But the notion was that he was asking a foreign country to expose the corruption of the Democratic Party. Who wants to do that? That's not democracy. We can't learn about Hunter's emails from another country, can we? We should just deal with Hunter's pay-to-play emails, and Lord knows what President Mashed Potato Brains did alongside his son to undermine national security. There's probably a reason that a country is being invaded now under his watch. Gee, maybe it has to do with the fact that he's compromised in many ways. I don't even want to go into that right now. But, so, you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where corruption within the Democratic Party is painted through media, through government officials, through former intelligence officials when they try to suspend the New York Post as an elaborate attempt by another country to let you know how bad Democrats are, thus influencing you to vote for a Republican. Okay? It's a completely mindless, absurd propaganda spin, but it works for Democrats. And when you find a text message, and he has thousands of text messages. When you find a text message saying, I'm trying to help the Bureau, I'm not working on behalf of a client, and he's working on behalf of Clinton, who paid him to spread lies about Trump and filter those lies through the FBI to get that agency to investigate Trump. Yeah, that's a partisan that's a partisan endeavor. Simply saying, oh, well, they just wanted to know if Trump was installed by the Kremlin. Well, you made up that lie, and then you wanted to investigate the lie you made up. They fabricated a hoax, and then they said, gosh, we still have to really investigate whether this hoax is true. Well, you made it up. You might as well accuse somebody of stealing your car and then just investigate this innocent person for stealing your car. And then claim that, well, you know what? We accused the person. Therefore we have the right to investigate. Oh, and a lot of people in government thought that person was guilty, even though they don't have any evidence. The evidence that they had was, a dossier that was created by the person accusing the other person of stealing the car. Anyway, hit subscribe to this channel right now. This text message is going to lead to further indictments. 18 U.S. Code 371. It's not that difficult. It's really not that difficult. You simply cannot You cannot set up and frame an incoming candidate. You could do that with any presidential candidate that wins. You could say that, oh my God, that person's foreign policy coincides with the interests of another country. Therefore, the incoming candidate was installed by that country. Give me your thoughts below. And by the way, I mean, there are all these FBI officials that Durham is going to use their notes to undermine Sussman, and then Sussman at the end of the day to convict him, and then at the end of the day is going to say, look, all of these people were in on it. And that's how Durham wins. He gets people to flip and sing and to defend themselves. Michael Sussman is acting truthfully, or he's actually telling the truth. If he were to say, yeah, James Baker at the FBI knew exactly what I was doing. He's not stupid. He knew that Sussman was paid by Clinton. Okay, Comey says that he didn't know the Steele dossier was purchased by Clinton. He's director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Are you kidding me? Of course he knew. When Strzok says we'll stop Trump, he says, well, I don't remember that, and I had no bias against Trump. He had utter contempt against Trump. And he used his government post. Journalists use their post to spread lies about Trump in media. Government used their post to utilize the lies spread within media and also within lies spread within media emanating from deceitful Steele dossiers purchased by Clinton and the DNC. And by the way, I want a Hillary Clinton-Trump 2024. I know that people say, oh my God, what are you talking about? No, I definitely want one. Because we need this. This is too much. Look, we need a rematch in large part because we're still in a 2016 matrix. People have not left 2016. You might think 2016 is 6 years ago. It's really not. We're living it every day. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Text messages obtained are not only going to lead to other indictments, they're going to bolster the absurd nonsense of purchasing a dossier. The dossier was what helped further all of this nonsense before the Alpha Bank story, which was also, created by Trump's direct political rivals. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Thank you.